Oh, hey, sorry, I didn't see you there. I want to explain why I got rid of all my cars. I don't need a Lamborghini. I don't even need a car. I only need 2 wheels. This right here, you want to step back just a minute, okay? This right here is a 2027 Tesla Scoot. You haven't heard of it because me and Elon are like this, 2 peas in a pod. This is all I need now. And I want you to have a safe distance because this has 32 to the wheel. Volts, that is, but this thing moves. And I'm gonna explain exactly why I don't need my cars anymore. I still got a few of them. I got one behind the cameraman that I don't need to show you for the island here, but this thing is sick. Paul Blart, it's got nothing on this.
That was pretty valid, huh?
Let's go. So aside from that hilarious intro, in this video, I want to explain exactly what the title says, why I sold all my cars. Now, that's actually a little bit of clickbait because I've bought a new vehicle that I have not shown yet, but what I want to explain on the channel is why I got rid of so many vehicles. And you might have seen, if you've been following me here on YouTube or on my Instagram, which you can see my new one. My other one got hacked after like 4 years and 60,000 followers, a bunch of fun. But it was crazy because over the last few years, at one point I lived in my absolute dream house, 10-car garage. There was always 15, 20 cars there, another 5, 6 street bikes, dirt bikes, ATVs. Like, it was a playground and it was so much fun. You know, I've always had 5+ cars. I bought a vehicle for my grandpa. I love cars. I did all that for me. It wasn't for any other reason. And each of them, everything from the SUVs to, you know, the Lamborghini, the RA, the GTRs, all of that, every single one, even the dirt bikes, they all have a story. There's some sort of emotion there, there's memories, and there's something so valuable. And so the first thing I want to say here is if you're a car guy or gal, definitely buy whatever it is you want. If you're in a position where it's not going to affect anything and you can do it financially, do it. I encourage that. I don't encourage suppressing that because once you do it, you're going to realize it's just as fun as you thought if you're actually buying the vehicle for the right reason, but it's also not going to be that big of a deal. Like, now I don't care as much if I'm pulling up in a Lamborghini versus a Ford Focus. Like, it doesn't make as much of a difference to me, even though other people might perceive you differently. And that's just because I've done it for so long. So there's a few things I want to talk about in here. First of all, this video is slight clickbait because the one vehicle I still haven't sold is the Lamborghini Huracan. And the reason for that, it is completely in pieces across 3 different states, getting work done, finishing, and to be honest, upgrading the current twin turbo build. So doing a little bit more stuff, new transmission and building out a race transmission for it and some other internals. So you will see that soon. That will be fun. Once that car is done, hopefully before the end of this year, I'm gonna enjoy it for a few months, do a bunch of collabs with some huge YouTuber friends of mine that have 5, 10, 15 million subscribers. You'll see a bunch of fun race videos between different people in their cars. So that will be coming soon. But over the last few years, my cars have really started to take up a lot of my time. And while I was living in Arizona full time, and in between there and California, it was a lot of fun. And then I transitioned to Arizona full time, and I could manage the cars because, you know, when there's 6 cars there, and you know, a dirt bike that needs a tune-up, and this car needs brakes, and then tires, and over here, and this one has to go through emissions, and then let's say you move houses, which happened multiple times. Okay, moving 7 cars plus another 8 between my friends is no easy task. It truly isn't, because you're going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back. It takes all day to just move 10 cars. So it's just one of those things that it became a little bit more time consuming, and that was fine while I was there. But now, as I'm standing right here at my home in Puerto Rico, I'm only at my home in Arizona like 2, maybe 3 months out of the year. So it doesn't make sense for me to have 6, 7, 800,000, almost $1 million at some points worth of cars sitting there in cash that's not really doing much because I'm not actually using them. Now, from a financial perspective, it wasn't a huge issue. I don't want to say that in like a bad way, but it was something to consider. I was spending about $4,500 a month just in insurance. Okay, and I want to let that sink in. The cars, there was very few cars that I didn't own in cash, and the only reason that I bought them without cash was because the financing was incredible, like the Tesla. So it was just one of those things where just the overhead on it was ridiculous. And that's before any, you know, $120,000 twin turbo build, wrapping all the cars to match, doing wheels, upgrading this, building out the GTR, and doing everything. And then you factor in gas, maintenance, tires on 7 vehicles, you know, all this other stuff. And there was dirt bikes and ATVs and street bikes. And it was just one of those things where it got very time consuming. And at one point I thought, hey, should I have an assistant who also has a job where part of it is to manage the cars? It just got a little bit to that point, and I don't want to make it seem like a bad way because I had so much fun doing it. But now I live in Puerto Rico, where you saw is that in that intro clip, I ride bird scooters around the city. Now, I actually just did buy a new vehicle here that I have not shown yet. It's an SUV. It's nothing fancy. It's nothing crazy. It's not a Urus, even though that's something I definitely want. But I decided to make a huge change. And that doesn't mean that I don't like cars. And I promise you, there will be more cars. I will build another garage. But for the last 3 years, it's been nothing but fun with vehicles. And I wanted the next year or 2 years to be a break from that. So I want to get rid of the Lamborghini. It's so fun. And I really want to experience it once this build is done, and I will. And then once that's done, I get rid of it. I'm gonna get something else, a nice SUV, maybe some X3 M40i, which is what I bought my grandpa, or like an X5M, or something fun, probably not a Urus, but like something super sick that's enjoyable, but nothing as crazy. And eventually I do want to do a 720S build, a 600 LT build. I want to do some other stuff, probably an Aventador. I like cars, so that's something that I want to do, right? Definitely want a Ferrari. But I also want a big change of pace, because there's been a few situations that I haven't talked about on camera, like my GTR, one of the two GTRs I had getting stolen. There's also situations where, and I keep 2 guns in every, this is just me being open and honest here, I keep 2 guns in every single vehicle that I own. And it's something where I'm very particular about, let's just say, safety, like type of gun, type of ammunition, location of the gun, accessibility, making sure there's extra clips in the car in very convenient spots. That's just something, because first of all, I like weapons, and that's number one, but also in these vehicles, I've had to limo tint every single one so that you can't see them, because safety is a huge, huge concern in those vehicles. There's been at least a dozen times, and this is not even an overreaction, at least 10, 20 times where I get followed home, like where people try to come through the gate. I've had to live in gated communities because there's issues with security, and people try to follow you home. It gets scary because you don't know their intentions. Sometimes it's a mom in a minivan who's like speeding recklessly at 100 miles an hour to follow you on the highway as I'm literally trying to get away because I don't feel safe. And then they follow you all the way back home, and you end up having to get out of the vehicle with a weapon, and you don't know what's going on. You have no idea. You can't see in their vehicle, and it's an irresponsible mom with a 12-year-old who likes the car, and that's awesome. I'm always more than happy to let them take a picture, sit in it, I'll give you a ride, no problem. But like when safety becomes a concern, and that's not why I'm getting rid of the vehicles, but it's one factor. It's another headache, and people following you. And I'm an introvert for the most part, and I bought the cars for myself. So I usually go out driving at night when there's not really anybody out there. And I don't like to go out in the day. Like if I'm going to the store, I try not to take the Lamborghini in the day, because when I pull up to Walmart or the grocery store and there's 22 people, they're all looking at you, 4 people have their phones out. I don't like that attention. I don't like the eyeballs on me. That's just how I am. So it was something where it got a little bit frustrating, and I decided, hey, I don't think I'm, a cooler person if I'm pulling up in the Lamborghini versus a Ford Focus. Like, it doesn't make much of a difference for me. Now, again, I like cars, so I'll do what I want in terms of having cars, but I wanted to change the pace, because if I'm going to have all the vehicles in the States, you can't have a Ferrari here. There's people who do it, but the roads are terrible. It doesn't make any sense. You could not enjoy it properly. So it doesn't make sense if I'm here 6, 7, 8 months out of the year, and then traveling a few months, then back in Arizona 2 or 3 months out of the year. It doesn't make sense to do that. And I'm also going to be spending some time in Texas. I'll be getting a home there at some point. So I'll put something there, and I will still have 1 or 2 cars and some fun stuff, but it's not going to be no crazy 10-car garage. So eventually it will be, and I will do more builds. But it's one of those things where I just wanted to talk about this, because you guys saw my journey with this. You saw when I was 17 years old and I bought my first car, which was the BMW M4, the dream car. And that was hard to sell. I got rid of one of the GTRs, got stolen, got rid of the other one. The R8 started having some maintenance issues, but it was fully covered under an extended warranty. But I decided to get rid of that car. Got rid of the Tesla because I hated it. There was a video with a few 100,000 views on the channel that people despise me for. But the Tesla was a crappy car, the Tesla Model Y in particular. I love Tesla. But the Model Y, I had a lot of problems. And yeah, I got rid of a bunch of stuff, and it was one of those things where even letting the M4 go was really hard. And I did keep the contact information for that guy who bought it, I promise you, and I told him I will buy it back. I had a dealership sell it and save all his information. So I will buy that vehicle back at some point, but I've just been having some fun. And so I kind of wanted to change the pace. Again, I do have a car out here in Puerto Rico because I kind of need it to get around on the island. But, for right now, I'm just cruising. It's just like full mental focus and attention on the business. And that's where I want my priority to be right now. The cars for me are super fun, but it's been a real headache. And the biggest reason for this, just being open and honest, was the Lamborghini. The shop, I'm not going to name it now because we're still working stuff out, but who originally did the twin turbo build and all this stuff, it has been the biggest battle to get this car done. What they promised me is not what they delivered. They said 3 weeks. That's turned into a year and a half and an extra $70,000. It's been, there's been a lawyer involved. There's been some crazy stuff that's happened. Again, I try to never talk about stuff like that, even like people stealing my car, but there's been plenty of issues, and I should have just gone to someone else who's a lot more reputable for it. At the time, I was trusting a friend who I shouldn't have in terms of recommendation on a shop. And anyways, I know that they can do a good job, but it's not something they frequently do. That type of car and that type of build, I know they can do it, but it's just one of those things where it's going to take a long time. Their communication is crap, and it's been frustrating. So that truly kind of sapped the passion out of cars for me for a little while. And I just decided, I'm getting rid of everything. Give me the crappy $1,000 Camry. At one point, I had like a $2,000 crappy little car that I was about to buy, just as just to completely go in the opposite direction. So I didn't end up doing that, but I love vehicles and I appreciate all different ones. And I bought, I'll just say it's a Ford Explorer, like a nice used. It used to be an undercover cop car, so it's definitely well taken care of. It's a beautiful car. It's so smooth, good sound system. I love it, and that's my car for here on the island, and it's awesome. And it wasn't that expensive. It was 4 times cheaper than any car I've ever bought, and I love it. It's simple, doesn't get attention, got it tinted all the way around, and it's good. So yeah, I have a lot of fun. You guys will see a 720S build on the channel at some point, probably a 600 LT, maybe a 458 or a 488. Who knows now? You got the SF90s coming out with Ferrari and all the new cars. I love vehicles, and you will see a lot more cars on the channel, but my priority right now is just not on cars. So yeah, you can see I have my garage page on Instagram with 5,000 or 6,000 followers, where I used to post me doing donuts in the Lamborghini with a big stuffed duck strapped to the back of the wing, and just crazy stuff. I have a lot of fun with cars. The second day that I bought the Lamborghini, I went up in North Scottsdale, way up north. I had a house in Cave Creek as well when I lived in Scottsdale, and I went way into the desert. And the second day I own it, I'm ripping donuts and just getting this car dirty, full of little rocks and dirt and dust. The second day I owned it. And people are freaking out, my friends, a little bit nervous that I'm kind of with. And I'm like, dude, it's just a car. I'm not destroying it. I'm getting it dirty. Sure, just like any car. I'm going to go get it dirty. I'm going to have fun. And I'll make sure I take care of it. And that car has been with me for almost 3 years, the Lamborghini, which sounds absolutely crazy. So yeah, it's one of those things where, I'm excited to just not really have to think about the cars or worry about it. I'm still dealing with the Lamborghini stuff a little bit, but that car is going to be great as soon as it's done. I have a lot of faith in that. So we're nearing the end on that one, and then I'm going to enjoy it for a while. You'll see a bunch of fun videos on the channel. So if you are a car guy or a car gal, let me know in the comment section down below. What's your lineup? Okay. If you're actually a car guy or a car gal, you'll know what that means. Name it, list it out. Is it 4? Is it 8? Is it 10 of them? What does it look like? What's your lineup? I would love to hear it. So if you enjoyed this video, and if you want some more car type content soon, if you want a car reveal for my one here on the island, I'd be more than happy to make that. Just drop a like on the video and let me know what you want to see in the comment section down below. Again, make sure to follow my new Instagram. It's just at Real Hayden Bowles. We'll either throw it up on the screen or you can find it linked in the description below. All right. Hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.